how was the pressure from the marketing? I think this economic pressure to kill stories.
I think if you look at my experience with all the major newspapers, it almost feels like, many of the stories that I was doing and which were either buried, killed, or suppressed, by, like you place a story on the bottom of 9th page and they have a justification that we publish. So I think a lot of, and in an illiberal democracy, most of the investigative stories are actually warning about the coming winter, right? So in 2013 or 12, I think I had filed the Adani over-invoicing scam based on the DRI investigations. And if that time, if DRI, and in fact, that was the biggest black money case before the SIT, which was the first act of Modi government to be set up. My story was never used in the whichever publication I was, and we were colleagues then. The fact is that if DRI and CBI had done their job then, and if the story had been published by the newspaper, there would have been pressure on them, and we would not have had to go through the tamasha that's happening to the Adani empire right now. Because if you read the Hindenburg report or look at the numbers carefully, that is the big chunk of money that Adani first moves into Dubai and into Mauritius, and that's the money that is used primarily. Then he kept adding to it to manipulate his stock prices. So it was a very clear case of criminal conspiracy. That story was never used. Look at Reliance Jio. I think most of you are having at least one of them in your hand. So I had filed story about how there was a forged bank guarantee at the heart of the tendering. Never used. So it is not always corporate. I had filed a story on then Rajasthan Chief Minister, the present one, Ashok Gehlot. Never used. I done a fairly, I think, sensational story on the Tata Trust. Never used. And that was the last time I said that I'm no more going to do this crap for editors who don't, or the newspapers. So I left. But the fact is that if you look at, not from the editor's perspective, if you look at from the reporter's perspective in this country, the good reporters who are trying to bring out qualitative work and investigative work are doing adversarial work, and they're actually they're forewarning about the systemic collapse or the challenges coming. That is where I think the stories are being suppressed. And because the mainstream media is already sending out feelers to reporters saying that, look, don't bring an adversarial story. Every reporter gets up every morning self-censoring, saying that, what is that safe, mediocre story that I can file for the day, right? So that cycle is what is also stopping good journalism from emerging in this country.